You're listening to RcFlightCast podcast with Frank Betts. Well, all right, back in the air, returning to RC flying after a long hiatus. Yep, that's the theme of this podcast today. And it's a really nice day out right now. It's about 74 degrees out, about 1:30 in the afternoon here in dynamic downtown Hickory Corners. I think there's about 300 people in this town, so whatever. I had a great weekend of flying myself. Flew my Super Cub, the FMS model, and had a good time flying that. Took it over to a buddy's house I haven't been over to for quite a few years, and got over there. And what a surprise. He had got a big garden right in the middle of the runway, grassy runway that he used to have beside his place. So I had to make do with just a narrow strip of grass and right beside his house. But it all worked out, because those things take off in about 3 foot, nothing flat, just zoom. And then, of course, I had to take 3 or 4 passes before I got brave enough to bring it into land, because those things love to float, with or without the flaps on it. And it was kind of in the evening, not dark, but the collision lights really showed up on it. And so it's a nice little plane. I bought that for about $190, and I see it's gone up another $10, probably because of that tariff going on. But it's a great plane. I also got their FMS Ranger with the nose wheel, springy nose wheel on it. It's kind of a Cessna 150 look to it. And I think if I had my choice, I would have not bought the Ranger and just got the Cub itself. Because that Ranger's great on asphalt or hard gravel. But you get any kind of grass, I don't care if it's, really cut tight or whatever, that thing loves the nosedive. And it has a hard time in any kind of grass. But yeah, on asphalt or anything like that, plane's beautiful. Flies really good. And I got the version where I just had to add my receiver, battery, and of course I have my own transmitter. But easy to build. Only took about, half hour, 40 minutes. That's pretty much it. All set up for you. So, let me see here. I got my little notes here because, this is about returning to RC flying. And I've been back at it for about 2 years now. I took a hiatus, about 2011, somewhere around in there, where I just kind of got burnt out. I had a podcast back then, too. And a CNC machine that printed out little planes for me, and I was really going full tilt, but I don't know. I just had to take a break, I guess. But anyway, I'm back at it. And I get on these different forums and take notes, and I notice some people, asking questions about, hey, I'm getting back into it again. What's a good plane to start out with, equipment and all that. So I'm going to kind of lightly touch on this stuff here. Like I said, it's just some notes I've taken. So I'm going to start with that. So, excuse my notes, because you'd think I'd type this stuff out, but got me a legal pad with my bullet notes and all that. So anyway, here we go. So, hey everyone, and welcome back to RC FlightCast, where the sky's not the limit. It's just the beginning. And I'm Frank, as usual. And today's episode is for all of you who used to fly RC planes but stepped away for a while, whether it's been 5 years, 10 years, or even longer. I'm here to walk you through getting back in the air safely, smartly, and without breaking the bank. I'm going to try anyway. Seems things are a little bit cheaper nowadays, to me anyway, than it was back, the mid-2000s when I was really into it. The brushless motors were just coming in, and the lipos were kind of clunky, and You get your radios. We're changing over from the 72 megahertz stuff to the 2.4 gigahertz stuff. And so, yeah. So, hey, let's face it. Life gets busy. Work, family, health, and other hobbies can take us, take the front seat for a while. But once that flying bug bites you again, it hits hard. And so let's talk about exactly where to start. If it's been a long time since your last flight. And so take inventory. Let's see what you got here. So first things first, dig out your old gear. Take a close look at what you've got. Do your transmitters still power up? Are you using a 72 megahertz system with crystals? And if so, it's probably time to retire it. I've still got my old stuff. With the extendable antenna that goes out about 3 foot, seems like. These days, 2.4 gigahertz is the standard. No more frequency pins, no more interference nightmares. I hated that because when I used to go to the club fly-ins and what have you, they had the big old pin charts up there, the clothespin charts. And they'd have all the frequencies of the 72 megahertz radios. So when you wanted to fly, you went up to that board, and if your frequency pin was there, that means, you were good to go out and fly. And then when you got done, you hung it back up for somebody else. So, not to mention, like I said, the interference nightmares that could be a problem. How about your old planes? If you got balsa bills with glow engines, you can still run those, but you may want to consider switching to electric for ease and cleanliness. And I've got both. I mean, I got quite a few nitro planes, and I get flashbacks of all that dry glow fuel all over the wings and the back end of the plane, and that smell. But, little things though like that, the smell of those engines burning, that nitro and what have you there. But it took a while, but I switched over to electric. And so anyway, you got those old NiCads. They're MH packs. Forget it. Lipos have taken over, and they're lighter, more powerful, and cheaper, but they also demand respect. Yes, they do. Just check out YouTube videos of lipos going up if you short them out or whatever. Once they start going off, it's hard to put them out. So you really need one of those lipo bags to put your lipos in, when you're not flying. That's a vicious fire if those things ever catch. Check your charger, your ESCs, and servos too. Modern ESCs now come with programmable features and built-in BECs. You'll want to familiarize yourself with these updates, that's for sure. So, even if you were once an ace flyer, it pays to shake off the rust. Stick controls take practice, and your thumb memory might be out of sync. I know mine was. One of the best tools for this is a simulator. RcFlight is the gold standard. Yes, it is. I got RcFlight, and it helped me a lot to get my, muscle memory going again for flying those planes. I flew that simulator quite a bit, and then of course I got back into flying for real, and it all come back. Just takes time. Then you got your free apps like PicaSim or mobile simulators can also get the job done. I haven't tried those. I've said in previous podcasts that I'm not familiar with those, but the RcFlight, I even had it back in the day when it first come out, and it was really good. So it's even better now with more updated planes that you're most likely to have that you bought, that you can sit there and fly it on the simulator and try it out before you go do the real thing. So you really need to revisit your pre-flight checks. Make sure you remember how to reverse servos, set expo and rates, and understand CG, which stands for center of gravity. And this isn't just beginner stuff. It's essential for everyone. that CG is really important. I'd rather be a little nose heavy than tail heavy. One of these times you'll find out exactly what I'm talking about. So let's be real. Don't start back with a warbird or a jet. You need a floater. You know, trainers and slow flyers are perfect for this transition. And here's a few popular comeback models that I've made a note of. And you got your Hobby Zone Aero Scout S2. It's ready to fly, durable with safe tech. And you got your E-Flight Apprentice STS. That's great for step-by-step skill building. And, of course, your FMS Ranger 1220, which I was talking about earlier that I own, which is a great plane. It's a high wing, very docile, a great trainer. And, yeah, it's just a solid plug-and-play workhorse. And then you got your Volantex Train Star, and that's a good bang for the buck. You got your RTF kits. You know, they come with everything you need, including a transmitter, which helps simplify your comeback. And I talk about that on previous podcasts there about getting a transmitter with the kit or hanging loose and getting your own transmitter that you can kind of grow with. So, you know, transmitter tech is leveled up. So old radios worked, but today's systems are miles ahead, which they are. It's very true. You know, I've got the Futaba FC, F7C, and I got that back in the mid-2000s. It was more of the high-end radios, and it's still going strong. It does everything I want it to do, and it's 2.4 gigahertz stuff. So, you know, you got some popular picks. The FlySky FS I6X. It's cheap, dependable, and programmable. I got one of those, too. When I had to send my Futaba in to have some things changed around in it, you know, they said it was going to take about 6 weeks. So I immediately went on to Amazon, and I figured that FlySky FS I6 was the way to go, and I paid like $63 for it, and it comes with a receiver and everything. And I still use it, even though I got my Futaba back. I have no problems with it at all. Then you got your Radio Master Boxer, which is the TX16S. It's a multi-protocol with the Edge TX, Spectrum DXE, or the NX series. And that's plug and play with Horizon Hobby products. These transmitters are packed with features like telemetry, voice alerts, mixing, and model memory. So they're, you know, prices are good. You know, you're looking probably, if you don't want the RTF stuff where you get stuck with just a minimal transmitter, this is a good way to go. Because it remembers different models of airplanes that you're probably going to be getting, so you can switch around on the fly, and you don't have to reset anything for each airplane you might take out for the day. So, and then you got the new lingo, and you'll hear acronyms and terms that didn't exist when you last flew. And you got your BNF, or bind and fly, no transmitter. Yeah, it won't come with the transmitter. You got the ARF, almost ready to fly, and that needs the transmitter and receiver, and receiver and battery. And that's the one I got from that FMS, the Ranger and the Cub that I bought. Everything, but I just had to toss my own receiver and battery in there, and I was good to go. And another cool thing is called SAFE, S-A-F-E, or Sensor Assisted Flight Envelope. And that thing, you have a 3-position switch on your transmitter, and you have just a beginner setting where if you're up flying and you get it out of your control or whatever, you let go of the controls and it'll right itself and level itself. And then you got the medium, which is, it allows you a little more control, so you can get a little bit more crazy on the maneuvers and everything, but it still keeps you under control there. And that first setting, which the beginning is great for when it's like really windy out or bumpy or anything, because if you have that setting on there, it's a matter of lining your plane up for the final approach and just dropping the throttle, and it'll settle down real nice and neat and hold itself up there, and that's great if you're out by yourself and trying to learn how to fly again. That's about as close as you're going to get to somebody who knows what they're doing, trying to work with you. Then you got the ESC, which stands for Electronic Speed Controller. And then you got the FPV, which is first person view. And that's a whole different ball game right there. That's something for later on to talk about. But hey, even the servo connectors have changed, and so you check your compatibility with what you got and what you're going to need. And another thing I jumped on for the second time around is the AMA. And yep, they're still around. And many clubs offer beginner training and flight instruction. And if you left the hobby before simulators and GPS, you might be shocked at how much help is available now. And use the AMA's Club Finder, Facebook RC groups, or meetup.com to find local flyers. And check your local park rules. Some cities have designated RC areas while others ban them entirely. That's why I fly down at the local church. It's a good-sized church, and a lot of times there's not that much going on, and I got plenty of room. I got a choice of asphalt driveway or a nice long strip of grass that they keep nicely cut. And they're really nice down there, and I can fly down there anytime I want, as long as there's, the parking lot's not full and I'm not flying over anybody. So, yep, check with the locals there. Make sure they don't you get their feathers ruffled, so to speak. And so if you're flying in the U.S., flying has changed a bit legally. And FAA registration is required for aircraft over 250 grams. And that goes for the drones. Drones are the same thing, over 250 grams. You must take the Trust test, TRUST. That's free and quick. And you need the remote ID, but FRIA fields are exempt, which means, most AMA approved fields or clubs you go to, you don't have to worry about that, but still smart to check in on that. So if you're under 250 grams, you can sidestep a lot of this, making sub 250 park flyers an appealing option. But just to backtrack here, that well, let's see. It's been a bit since I took that test. Just look it up online, Trust test, and they'll give you a little test, and you can just take it over and over and over. It's pretty common sense stuff. That's pretty much what they're wanting to get through to you. And then for $5, you got a 3-year registration for any of your equipment that you have. You just make sure that you put that registration number that's given you and attach it to any one of your planes, anywhere. You can write it on with a Sharpie or paint it in or whatever you want to do. Just make sure that's on your plane there, and you'll be good to go. And and kind of keep things under 400 foot. They get a little nervous if you go up past that, and I think 400 feet, that's quite a bit. Especially if you're just, got your trainer going and you're just kind of tinkering around the circuit. There's no way you're going to be close to going up over 400 feet. So that's a good thing. So, when you finally head out to fly, plan a calm day with light winds. And bring a friend or find a buddy box set up. Somebody that can help you out like that. So fly early or late to avoid thermals. Keep flights short, low and slow. Focus on practicing turns, trimming, and stall recovery. And just keep doing some, touch and goes minus the touch. Just bring it around and just before you touch down, give it the throttle and go back around again. Get used to that, that plane coming at you, and your speed, and just make sure you don't stall it, which is very easy to do if you make too sharper turns at too slow a speed. So just practice on that simulator, and when you get out in that field, just take your time. Don't get fancy, especially if you're doing this on your own. So, forums like rcgroups.com and flighttest.com are buzzing with helpful pilots. And YouTube is a gold mine for builds, repairs, reviews, and inspiration. So you can watch Pilot Ryan, RC Sailors, or even our own RcFlightCast archives to stay up to date on this stuff. So, yeah, once you're flying comfortably again, then start tinkering. And that's just what I started doing. You got your foam board scratch builds. The Dollar Tree foam board and hot glue gun is a good start. There are plenty of places online where you can buy they're little profile planes, really is what they're called, because it's just, flat fuselage and flat wings, and you just toss your electronics on it and toss it and go. And if you crash it, hey, just go get you another piece of that foam board for $1.50 and start over again. I mean, that's how I got back into it. And so then now I'm into the 3D print stuff. I've talked about this on prior podcasts, but I went and got a Bamboo Lab A1 printer. It's the perfect one to start out with. And I believe right now, as of 8/3, which is today, 2025, I believe they're having a sale on those right now. And for about $400, I believe you can get you a brand new one, and it works great. Yeah, I mean, now I'm looking right now at a couple of planes I've built, and they're ready to put the electronics on it, and I'm good to go. And the plans are, you can get them for like $30. Some of them, like, PTI Kyle's site. He's into the EDF stuff, the jet powered stuff. It's just electric motor with a jet prop on it, and so you can get his stuff for like around $15 and print it out, put all your electronics in it, and go fly. And again, if you crash it, then just go build another one. So that's some, like 3D Lab Print or Eclipson is another place there. Just do a search. Yeah, I'll have some links up below the show notes too, that you can click on and go check out. I mean, these are places I've actually bought from, and they're really good support, and they're pretty straightforward on your printer. You don't have to really tinker around, make settings or anything with that. But, hey, and then you can also, convert your old Bossa models to electric, which is very doable now. Just brushless motors and lipos are small and efficient. Yeah, you can get that old Bossa plane out and clean it up and pull the nitro motor out of it and put your own electronics in there, and you'll be good to go. So here's a little quick re-entry field checklist. And make sure you bring some charged lipos, of course. The 3S 1300s to the 2200 milliamp range for the type of plane you got. I would have 2 or 3 of those. That way you can keep them in rotation. You can charge them off your car battery, and you can keep flying all day long, no problem. And make sure you bring the Velcro straps and the zip ties, hold things together. And a compact field toolkit, which means you need screwdrivers, some glue, hex drivers, extra props and rubber bands, and a smart charger. For example, like the Toolkit RC M6 or the ISDT, the 608AC. And then make sure you have a lipo-safe bag or some kind of container where if that thing wants to ignite or take off on you, it'll be contained. So yeah, really read up on those lipos because they can be a real problem if you don't know how to handle them. And those tools I was talking about, like the screwdrivers and the hex drivers, we're only looking at the little, the like watchmaker size, really small. Hex drivers, you're looking at like 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter, just small stuff. And a lot of these ready to fly planes or these ARFs will have the little Allen wrenches or the tools you need to put them together. It makes it really simple. And you just keep those and put them in your little toolkit box that you carry out with you to the field there, and you'll be good to go. So for my final thoughts, you're not starting from scratch. You've got the mindset, the background, and now the updated tools to enjoy RC flying again. So the hobby's better than ever. And there's a whole new world to explore with FPV, 3D printed planes, and AI-assisted stabilization. So unpack those planes, dust off your thumb, and I'll see you at the field. So until next time, this is Frank with RcFlightCast. Keep your wings level and your prop spinning, and we'll see you out there on the field. Later.